Hey, hey, hey. Or should I say, ho, ho, ho.
Oh.
See what I did there? Okay.
Yeah, that was pretty clever. You got up early for that one, didn't you?
He is growing. I'm telling you.
We're here
years
on the
ago,
IRS.
He doesn't do that.
We're here on the IRS Radio Hour on AM 560. The Answer. Here with Deborah Schreiner, Jim Lee, and our very special guest, MC Antol.
Hey, 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 ho, 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 Santa says hello.com.
There we go. That again.
She's a genius.
Oh, wow.
Jesus.
You've hitched your wagon to the right horse.
Absolutely.
That woman knows what she's doing.
So as she just alluded to, that you do a service for people in this time of year. Tell us a little bit about it.
It's a Santa Claus. It's a Santa Claus call service that, as Deborah said, if you go to santasayshello.com and you order a call at a predetermined time, Santa will make that call. And what's great about it is that because it's very intimate and one-on-one, and talking to these kids, I could tailor the call specifically to the kids, so it's not automated. There's nothing about it that's robotic. And some kids will carry the conversation. Some kids just want to be talked to, and you have to read it. And it's a fascinating. I've been doing this for like 30 years now, and I've gotten so adept at it. So people say, well, so-and-so, I've had this loss this year. Don't worry about it. I've dealt with it. At some point, I've dealt with it. And so I was going to tell you guys early on that there's this trend that's happening this year. You know how these kids are like, without having kids or whatever, kids meaning young adults, they have these pets and they're treating their pets like children. So now there's been this epidemic of pet deaths this year, and these little kids are. I don't mean that
I know what you mean.
But I'm just saying these little kids are all freaked out because their pets have died. So I had a call just the other night, and I talked to this little girl, and I think the dog's name was Gumball, and Gumball died, and so I talked to this little girl. I said, Emma, I want you to know, the other day Mrs. Claus heard a scratching at the door, and I opened it up, and you know who it was? It was Gumball. She was really, I go, yeah, Gumball was that. And I said, she looked like she was 3 years old. She looked really good. She came in, she sat down next to Mrs. Claus by the fire, and she was knitting. And I said, do you mind if I keep her up here? And she goes, oh, no. And it's just, and this is now the third call where I've had a loss of a pet. And it's really interesting. And one of the fathers called me. He says, that was amazing. I said, well, it's not me. It's Santa, because he can go to places that you and I can't go. He has got a relationship with these kids, and it's been very liberating.
Well, that's why I always introduce you when we talk about.
Like, you don't understand really the impact of like what you're doing.
We always talk about you, MC.
To
whenever we talk about you here, we always talk about you as being a great storyteller, and this is a way, and this you can harness that gift that you have, because it is a gift.
Yeah.
Again, just hearing the stories like. Man, that's touching. That's
this one was even more compelling because it was a human. This one, these two little kids, they lived out in Colorado. They lost their little sister, and it was the same sort of thing. And the father on the forum told me they lost their little sister. And for purposes of our conversation, I'll call her Sylvia. It wasn't her name, but I called the kids and I go, hey, you know who I saw today? They go, who? I go, I saw Sylvia. I go, she's doing great. She's looking down on you, and she loves you very much. And she wishes she could be there, but she wants to know she's so proud of you, and she's so proud to be your little sister. And the father called me back, and he was crying, and he says, how did you have the guts to do that? I go, again, it's not me. It's Santa Claus. He can do that. I can't, but Santa can.
Wow.
He says, well, my two kids were bouncing off the wall after you told them that. They were so excited.
Wow, what a great... God. So just these little things where you can have such an impact on someone's life.
Yeah.
Man, that's amazing.
Well, and that's why, people have always said, what are you doing for Christmas? I said, I'm doing my Christmas calls. And they're like, well, don't you want to be with, I'm with people. This is way more Christmassy than I've ever.
That's the definition of Christmas.
It is. It really is.
What I like about stuff like this is that, and this is what you were just getting to, is that how much you get out of it. You're giving all this great gift to people, but what you get out of it is got to be unbelievable.
It's incredible. I can't remember if we talked about this one before, but there's a young couple, these two kids that I've been calling them for like 15 years. They live in Richmond. He's in the Marines, maybe it's the Army. but I've been calling him since he's about 7 or 8 years old. And his little sister, who is now a classical harpist. And I've been calling these kids every year since then. And, over the years, the presents have gotten a little more exotic. He started asking for a pickup truck about maybe 8 years ago, and he since has gotten married, engaged. Well, and I remember a couple of years ago when he told me he was engaged, I said, who are you getting engaged to? He says, Josie. I go, oh, you're way over your pay grade there. I said, what, did she lose a bet or something?
Well, that's again, again, he'll be calling you to call his kids. Wouldn't that be great? Have you have anything like that?
I haven't had that. Well, no, not quite yet, but it's coming. It's coming because I've been doing it. I've been doing it long enough now that I could be doing that. But yes, it really is fun.
That says something. This guy calls from 7 years old. He's still calling.
Yeah,
still calling you, and it's a tradition. It's just why.
It's their family
and
tradition.
But you know him personally.
Yeah, I do know him personally. I remember when he went in the military, and they were homeschooled, which is really interesting because, there was a maturity that these two kids had, and I don't know, the mother must be a remarkable woman, but she's made this a part of their Christmas tradition, and so it's every year I do it. And there's another couple out in Montana that I've been calling these kids. They're probably in their late teens now, but I still call them as well.
So that's a great story.
That's what Christmas is all about.
And again, it is all about tradition. Okay, and our tradition now is to have MC around Christmas every year, and we're going to continue that tradition, God willing.
Yeah. Hey, God willing, the creek don't rise, or you don't waste away to nothing.
I don't think we have to worry about that. but it's what a great story. Again, I think a lot of this stuff, it comes back to you so much that. And I like the line when you say, Santa could do these things, and I can't do these.
Santa's got a blank check that I do not have.
Well, we're running out of time here. You got any other, like one more that you gotta just?
Well, I wrote this.
Try not to make me cry.
Yeah, I wrote this one, and I don't stop me if I told you this one before. But there was a little kid, and there was a kid in Washington D.C. His name was Daquan, and he was not going to get Christmas. His adopted mother, his mother was a crackhead, adopted him. Brought him in and said, I'm not going to get you any presents because you're 12 years old now. This kid had all sorts of issues, behavioral issues. Long story short, his adopted mother, orders a call. I call him up, and I'm talking to this kid, and he's 12 years old. He's from the Bronx, and he says, I believe in you, Santa. There's 9-year-olds who don't believe in me, right? But this kid's 12 years old, seen more life, and he said, I believe in you, Santa. And I said, Daquan, I'm sorry I'm not going to be able to get you any presents this year. He goes, that's okay. I know I'm too old. But I said, here's the deal. Because I read on the bottom of his form, his mother said he loves the Weather Channel. I said, I heard there's a big storm coming in over Baltimore, and none of these other boys and girls are going to be able to get their presents. Do you think you can give me a weather report? So I hung up, and I forgot all about it. 2 hours later, I got this incredible, 3-page typewritten weather report from this little kid who knew he wasn't going to get any presents, but he was be damned if those kids are not going to get presents.
Wow.
And it was like one of the greatest Christmas presents that I had ever seen. There's this little kid who life had just forgotten said, I'm going to make sure these kids get their presents. It was just magnificent.
That's the difference. That's the difference in that kid's life. He's going to remember that. Hopefully, you would like to think.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll remember it. I will take that to my grave. I really,
I'm going to tell you something. This everybody who watches this and hears that is going to remember that story because that is so touching and we all have this inside of us, and I think if you just scratch the surface, they're there.
They're there.
It's amazing stories.
Yeah,
amazing.
It's absolutely amazing what you do, ladies and gentlemen. If you have little kids at home or you have a neighbor, somebody who's is having tough times with Christmas, go to santasayshello.com. santasayshello.com. Order one of these calls. I can't. MC, thank you so much for coming on. Honestly,
this is my pleasure, guys. And mention the Leahy boys, and we'll give you a little discount.
Open tax resolution 312-664-6649 to visit ChicagoTaxTeam.com. Going to be your hub to fight the IRS. I'm Jim Leahy with That Properties, 847-271-3695. Let's start thinking about tomorrow today. Now let's listen to our sponsors and come back on AM 560.
The answer.